Hello YouTube, this is Geeky Austin, and today we're going to take a look at the NECA Mothra 2019. Okay, and on to detail. The detail on this Mothra figure is absolutely stunning. Despite her small size, NECA did a great job on the way they detailed her. You can see all of her different bits of fur throughout her. You can see all the different bits of scales that are on her body, especially down here on her abdomen. It looks really, really good. I love how those eyes look. The mantis-like claws are not too bad looking. And then, of course, the wings. You can see all different hints of membrane that has been sculpted out across the entire bits of the wings. They look really, really nice, and they are made of a translucent vinyl, which of course does reflect in the sunlight. Okay, I do apologize for the jump cut. I was going to show off her wings, but I honestly lost the flashlight, so I had to look around for one. So, okay. As I was stating, her wings are made of a translucent vinyl, which can reflect light into them if you shine a flashlight through it, which is really nice. It will allow you to come up with some pretty cool poses. And honestly, if I had a blue flashlight, I wonder if you could make her wings glow like they did in the movie, using that nice blue effect. I don't know if that would work or not, but still, that is pretty neat. And as for the paint job on this figure, just like the sculpt, is phenomenal. It looks really, really good. You can see different bits of grays and browns in camera. Could you focus? Thank you. You can see different bits of grays and browns and blacks all mixed and blended in across her entire body, which is really nice. As I stated, they use a very nice reflective blue for her eyes. They got bits of black here on the tips of her claws, which are nice, on her feet, which look really good. And of course, the entire wings are done up in this translucent orange here, but at the same time, they've even got painted on different bits of white, blacks, and they even did a nice bit of shading here to make this really look like an eyeball. And it looks really, really good. And all in all, that's all I got to say about how this Mothra figure is. She looks good, she is sculpted well, everything about her looks really, really good, and I do love how they did this, how she came out. Okay, as for the articulation on this figure is very, very little, very limited and all, but then again, with the size of her, it makes sense as to why it's so limited. First off, her wings are all on hinges. All four of these wings are on hinges, which allows you to bring them down about that far, and you can bring the top ones down about that much so they are straight out like so. You can bring the top wings up all the way, and you can bring the bottom wings up to about that much. They get blocked off by the sculpt right here, so there's not much that you can do. You can kind of force them to go up a bit more, but I don't want to because I'm worried I might break them. These wings feel very fragile. And there are even some reports from other Godzilla figure reviewers that have wings that were extremely loose. Thankfully, I don't have that, but yeah, it's something that you need to be careful of with your Mothra figure. Anyways, her forearms and her hind legs are on swivels, which allows you to bring them up that far and back that far. And the back ones are the same. You can bring them up that far, a good distance, and back about that far. The inner forearms have no movement at all. Her head has no movement. Her abdomen has no movement. Again, like I said, articulation on her is extremely limited, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot you can do for how small she is, because if I were to get Godzilla in here again and show you, if I were to get the scaling in on Godzilla, you can see again, she is very, very small. Godzilla here is 6 inches tall. And yeah, she is a very small figure, very, very small, but for what she is, she's not terrible. Okay, and as for accessories, the only accessory she comes with is this base right here, which has a nice building looking structure here with her cocoon sitting on top that is hatched out. And detail wise, it is really nicely done, and the detail on the cocoon itself is really well done. You can see all the different wrinkles and just scars and everything that are inside of it. On the outside, it looks really good as well. It kind of reminds me of a xenomorph egg almost, but yeah, it is really nice. Paint job is really good as well. Some nice reflective green going across the top here with some reflective blue going down the bottom. It looks really nice, and of course a nice bit of silver on here that is nicely shaded as well, so it all pops out. So yeah, this base accessory is not too bad, and it looks really nice. And to make it work, all that you gotta do is just peg this beast in right here, which has a bit on the end, and all that you gotta do is take Mothra and snap this section right here onto this section right there in the center of her body, where you can see that little bit that's exposed. You can just snap her into place like so, and once you snap her into place, she will sit on it with no problem. And that's the way she looks on the base. So it's not bad at all. If there is any downside that I can give to the way this looks, it's that I wish that this came with a Tamashi's flight stand arm, and that this was detachable, so that way you could do that. Because being straight up like this, it really limits on how much posability you can get out of this Mothra. Because sure, you can get her to look up a bit by moving her up like that, or if you flip her around and snapped her in, you can get her to look straight down like she's flying in to attack Ghidorah or Godzilla. But like I said, there's not a whole lot that you can do. It's very limited, and I wish that it wasn't. And for those wondering, if you do have a Tamashi's flight stand, yeah, it is possible that you can put her in it. It's just not very well done. If you put her in like this and then just wrap her around the back end of the wings like so, and then just put her in place, you can get her to stay if you play around with the arms and the wings, but yeah, there's not a lot that you can do. You can get her to stay in like that, and you can pose her like so. Again, it doesn't look very pretty, but if you play around with it, you can get it to work somehow. But like I said, that's just about the only downside I have with this base, is that I wish that this was more like this. Other than that, it's alright and it's a neat little accessory. And what's also neat about this little accessory, as you've already noticed when I was talking about the detail and paint earlier, you can pose Mothra with her wings up and actually get her to sit inside the cocoon. So if you want to remove this stand altogether, you can do that, and you can pose her like this, and it still looks really nicely done. It's not too bad. And also, right quick to go ahead and mention it, this Mothra figure was originally supposed to come with her larva form, which I'm assuming would have been about like that big, but she didn't come with it, and the reason why is because NECA jumped the gun and announced it without getting Toho's approval, and of course Toho shut them down on it and said, no, you can't sell it. And it upset a lot of Godzilla fans. Even I was a bit disappointed, but what we got is still nice. I still do like this base, but yeah, the little Mothra accessory would have really rounded out this entire figure and made the price more worth it. Because this figure costs, again, about 25 to 30, just like Godzilla. And this is all you get. It's this little bitty thing. And honestly, this little thing should have cost anywhere between 15 to 20, not 25 to 30. Okay, so overall, as I stated, the detail and paint on this figure is phenomenal. NECA really hit it out of the park with Mothra here. Her paint job is magnificent, her detail is great, and both together, she's a very beautiful figure. The articulation is extremely limited, but again, with her size, that is very understandable. I can live with it. The accessory that she comes with is also really nice, and as I stated, the lack of the Mothra figure would have helped make this figure made the price more reasonable and would have fully fleshed out this entire figure. But for what we got, I'm still not upset. I still think that she is a very nice figure, and just because of the way she looks and the way she is painted alone, I'd say absolutely pick her up. But if you feel that 25 is a bit too much for something this size, I won't blame you for not wanting to get her. But yes, I do love this figure, and I think that despite that, she is, like I said, she's a very nice figure, and I love how she came out. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. This has been Geeky Austin.